Okay, it's 6:30. We have a quorum for the Capital Improvement Committee meeting, and I will call the meeting to order. Let's see.
Is Rebecca on?
I don't see her.
All right.
She can always listen to the recording to do the minutes as well.
To automatically put a kid in an isolation room.
I don't know what that was just then. Did anybody?
I think Charlie had an open mic.
Ah, okay. All right, so starting off with attendance, we have Mr. Towers, myself, Bob Leach, Meehan to get the necessary quorum. Amy's here, Lynn Norton's here, a couple members of the public. So first off is approval of our meeting minutes from June 15th.
I move to approve the meeting minutes of June 15, 2020 as presented.
Thank you.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second by Bob Leach and a second by Bill Towers. Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
So that's unanimous. So we can toggling between things here. Okay, so I think the next thing we need to do is just jump right into reallocating. So on the agenda, which is probably the easiest place for you guys to look at it, I do have the spreadsheet and I can try to share it, but it does make it hard to share that and still see you guys and see the agenda. So, but off the agenda is the list of the 12 projects that we funded. The bottom
I see that.
4.
And can I ask what is the amount that we have to reduce our allocations by?
I was just going to say that the bottom 4 total $20 less than what we need to get rid of, which is a total of $94,668. Actually, they total $20 more than what we need to get rid of, not less.
Nope, we need to get rid of 94,688. So I think we're short still.
688? I had 668.
No, do I have the budget with me? The agenda says 688.
Well, that's exactly all the 4 last items.
Yeah, I think I double checked this a couple times.
And can I ask, what was the reason that we have to reduce our allocations? I forgot.
So when the agenda came out, there was a number on it. Amy didn't say anything. I thought it was the right number. It includes the 94,000 and change is the lease payment that comes out of the CIP budget. So it was the total budget, including that lease payment. And obviously that lease payment is already spoken for. So we cannot reallocate that money to other projects. Now need to remove it so that we don't ultimately exceed the CIP budget.
Right. And that lease payment was for what lease?
There's 2 of them. They are DPW trucks and town hall air conditioning, maybe?
I think that's right.
They're 10-year leases that we're somewhere in the middle of.
Yeah, they've been on here for a couple years.
So basically, we should have only allocated the 920 even. That was the allocation that came across from the Board of Selectmen on the final budget.
Correct. And that's why I get the 94,668 as what we need to reduce.
Where have we got the documentation from the Board of Selectmen for the amount that they had approved?
In the
Where
final
can I
budget.
find that?
If you look on the website under financials and you look into the final approved budget, that's the number.
That's where I picked it. That's how I picked up the mistake, because I was looking at Amy's final budget numbers when she sent it out and looked at Board of Ed and CIP, because those were the two things that I need to be concerned with, and realized that the lease payment was in the number that we allocated. So, answer all your questions, Bob?
I'm just looking at the town financial, approved budget.
So that number is always on there during the budget discussions too. I know it's always there. I just, when Rebecca put out not Rebecca, Melissa put out the agenda, I didn't double check the amount. I assumed she had it right. That was my mistake. I should have double checked it when it went out, and I didn't. So here we are. So now we need to figure out what we want to do. Any suggestions?
Well, I think we have two options. We can cancel out everything below the line, you know, the fire department, police department, public works, and the dog pound, or we can see if Lenny can take the hit on his roads and keep everything below the line.
Or we could certainly do some hybrid in between.
No thanks.
What other projects are above the line that we could potentially reduce to keep some of what's on the below the line side?
Is it correct to say that the reval and the next gen, we're already kind of committed to those, so we can't really change
Yeah,
those?
those are done. With those,
Yeah.
we can't touch. Those we cannot touch. And I guess, you know, on a more general side, I'd ask you guys, like, how important are those 4 items below the line? And you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think, 1 to 5, how much do you think effort we need to put into preserving some, all, that?
Well, my opinion, public safety is a priority that we need to stick with. And the bunker gear and the vehicle computers, I think, are a high priority in comparison with the facility equipment and dog pound repairs. I hate to see any of those get cut because it's just.
I know we've been trying to fund them forever.
I think I died on that hill for the dog pound.
I think I probably took a couple shots with you. How do you guys feel, Bill, Adam?
I think I agree. I also think the public safety, you know, the 10 and 11 are important. I mean, honestly, the public works equipment.
9 and 10.
Yeah. Oh, I have 10 and 11 on mine. Sorry. Yeah. I think the public safety is, you know, we should try to fund those.
I'm in the same place. So hopefully Adam's in agreement, or we can have a discussion about that.
No, I'm in agreement with that. It feels like with all the dialogue, a little over a year ago, about dog pounds, I hate to reduce that to 0. I mean, even a token amount, I'd be a little bit more comfortable. Not that 10,000 isn't already a token amount, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop my mute on and off because I've got some noise going on downstairs. I don't want to keep stomping for other people who are talking. But Lenny, can you give us a refresher on what your facility equipment line was supposed to cover for you this year?
That's supposed to be a forklift, and we've been investigating what we can do for a forklift, and it looks like we were going to be able to buy like a skid steer that we can utilize with forks, so we would have a two-fold piece of equipment. It would be both used for snow removal, small construction projects, and the forklift, which we don't have for inside the shop.
And what vehicle was this again, buddy?
A forklift?
No, right, but you were saying adding forks to a vehicle.
Oh, we were talking about a forklift, and we've been doing some research, and it looks like the best bang for the buck would be to buy a skid steer, which is a small, like a Bobcat thing with a bucket on the front. They can also accept forks. So we would be able to have a forklift when we need it in the shop and a skid steer when we need it for a little bit of snow removal or cleaning up small jobs, drainage projects, catch basin repairs and that sort of a thing. It's a rather handy piece of equipment that we just don't have.
We don't have a skid steer?
No.
We got a mini excavator, but not a skid steer.
We do not have a mini excavator.
Oh.
We have a backhoe, but we don't have a mini excavator. We could use some other equipment, but I realized we're not going to buy it all. We're not going to buy them all this year or next year or the year after. It's going to come in pieces. But I would
Lenny, what was the
give up some road
funding
money.
that you need in order to make that skid steer happen?
The 20.
So that's for the
I would
town.
be willing to give up some road money to get the skid steer.
So there's $10,000 in the town property vehicle replacement program.
Yeah, that's a different thing though. That's
I realize that. I know that wouldn't cover you for this, but is that something that we can reduce to cover, to cover our deficit?
Since
That
we're
is-
going on nearly a year, was that 10,000 vehicle replacement for town property? Is that simply funding that program? Or is there an actual vehicle those funds are?
No, that was primarily at this point meant to help fund the program for the what we have to contribute for a new bus or what have you.
Mhm.
Amy, do you know what's in their CNR line now? Do they have anything in there for that? Oh, we lost Amy. Okay, we'll get Amy when Amy comes back. Just wondering if we can maybe put that off a year. I mean, we've done a pretty good job of putting something in it, at least every year that I've been on here, I think. Amy, we were just asking if the vehicle replacement program, if you could let us know what's on the CNR line for that account. You're muted though, so when you come up with a number, make sure you unmute yourself.
Town properties?
Yes.
The vehicle replacement line, Amy.
23,645.
That's in there now?
Yep.
So we're probably halfway to a bus, easily.
Well, then that would be our matching funds for a grant, correct? That is all we need to have in there?
Right.
Yes, if there's one available.
You know, I don't think we're in terrible shape with buses. I don't really, I don't see it, but I don't really manage the day-to-day on that. And I don't think we're in horrible shape with the senior buses.
I don't believe so either. I think if I remember right, we got the newer, larger bus probably 3 years ago.
Actually, we got a.
Sooner than that, because it happened while
Right.
I was here, and I've only been here 2.
Right.
Okay.
I think it was in the past
So-
year or so.
I'd be willing to cut the town property vehicle replacement for 10,000. start with that. And then, as Lenny had mentioned, if we could trade off some of the road money for his DPW facility equipment, I'd be in favor of doing that also. So take out
Do we have
20 in road
consensus
money.
between, do we have consensus between the four of us to take the 10,000 out of the vehicle replacement program for town property?
I would agree.
I
Adam,
agree.
you agree? Bill
Yep.
agrees? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna zero that one out.
Okay. So I would recommend to take the 20 for the DPW facility equipment and take that out of the road funds.
You know, in an effort to try and help out a little bit, I could go down to 400 in the road and you'd have another 20 after we did my facility equipment.
Okay, I didn't want to ask Lenny, but if you're going to offer.
Well, I'm trying to play
No,
nice.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
We appreciate that. We know that you're unfortunately, you are in this process what I am in the full budget town process. We are the big nuts to crack,
Yeah.
and so therefore the education usually takes the biggest hit. So I totally understand your feeling there, Len.
Yep. So if we did that and we cut the pavement
So we're
management
down-
to 400.
So we are now down, let's see, we still have the 10,000 in the dog repair. We are down to needing to cut shy of $45,000.
Lenny, I think this question might go to you, but what's the lowest in the dog pound that would still be worthwhile? Like, is 1,000 even worth it? Is 2,500 worth it? Like, what's a low number that would still add something to it?
Well, we're going to have to, we are going to have to fund the replacement of the oil tank likely before winter. Been hanging around, it's been there for a while and it really needs to be replaced. Honestly, other than that, whatever that would cost. And I guess if we had to take that out of other town property, if we wanted to zero that out to zero, there's so many things to be done there. We could start picking away at it, but if you get much less than, $10,000, I understand we're sort of, well, from what I understand and believe, we're sort of kind of grandfathered, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's,
That's my understanding as well.
I don't believe the state's gonna come in and shut it down and say you can't put dogs in there.
No, I don't foresee that happening.
I mean, from a safety standpoint, though, we do have to change the oil tank before winter. Other than that, if it needs to get pushed off for another year, I mean, it needs to get pushed off.
Lenny, is that oil tank an in-ground tank?
No, it's outside, above ground. It's like a
275 gallon?
Yeah, it's like a outside house tank.
That's not a $10,000 job by any means. So
No. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, a couple $1,000s maybe by the time.
yeah, I was
you
going to say
out there.
$1,500, $2,000
Yeah.
job all day. So
Yeah, really, by the time you get to, yeah.
I would be willing to forego the 10,000 for dog pound repairs, and I'm sure that with a little, with a few heads put together, I'm sure we can come up with funding to replace the oil tank. I don't think that would be that difficult to find funds for that. Of course, when everybody says find funds, I know that's kind of a ridiculous statement, but I think it's
Yeah, you're
doable.
stealing from someplace when you do that, always.
Right, but at a maximum of $2,500 to get that done, I don't see that as an issue. I think we could actually find it. Just my opinion. So I'd be willing to forego the 10,000 dog pound repairs for the hill that I died on.
I'm a little tempted to leave half of it. I was muted. I had started speaking before you did, but I was muted, so you didn't hear me. But I was going to suggest it at 5,000, at least as a starting point here, and then see where we went. But
I'd go right for the 10
It's
simply
still
because
fine.
we've got to find 45. And getting rid of the 10, we're still looking at 35.
yeah, I know. Other opinions?
What did we end up, did we cut out a half a cruiser? Is that what that is?
Yeah, we already did that.
8 is 2 cruisers.
That's 2 cruisers, right? Okay.
Yep.
And typically we fund 2.5 because we usually buy 2 one year, 3 the other. The reason we cut it down to just the funding the 2 instead of the 2.5 was because of the deer
Right, they replaced it.
accident that we had with one of the vehicles. And we were able to replace that, of course, with funding from the town to make up the difference with the insurance. So even though it's a frontline vehicle, had 110,000 on it. So we're in okay shape as far as vehicles go at 2, which is what that number is, 88.
Oh. Hey, Len, what about the Public Works vehicle? Remind me what that one is.
Oh, that's I can't give that up. That's I'm going to have another guy coming on. That's a frontline plow truck
Okay.
that I was hoping this was done before because I'm trying to get it ordered. But that's life.
The GIS system and cut them back down to nothing. Could we scrape a little off drainage?
I would prefer not. I have puddles all over town. I mean, if you got to take more out of roads, I mean, what am I going to say? I'm not. I guess we'll do what we can with what we get.
Like I said, that sounds awful familiar, Len.
Yeah.
Is this the last year for the police department computers?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's the last year for the vehicle computers, and it's also the
Right.
last year for the next gen.
For the next.
So that's going to free up a fair amount of money for next year. $60,000 for next year to go someplace.
What did we cut the dog pound to? 5,000?
I haven't actually physically cut it
Oh, you
yet.
haven't done.
Yeah, we haven't agreed to a number. I
right,
was
I'll
willing to
throw in a
forego the
zero,
whole
and that-
10.
That puts us here, 34,668 is what we'd still need to cut if we put the dog pound at 0. Hair over 40,000 if we keep it at 5.
So Kathy, if you want to share your screen, you can do that.
Yeah, I usually try not to just because it's really hard to fit it all, but I will, since we're getting down there. You guys see it okay?
Yep.
So dog pound is currently 0. Up here is what we need to allocate as a total, and this is how much we need to cut. 34,668.
Do you know how many sets of bunker gear that was for the fire guys?
I want to. There's 2 numbers in my head. One's 6 and one's 10, and I'm not sure.
I'm thinking
I
it's
had odd
10.
numbers in my head, 7 and 9.
All right, hang on, wait. Let me go look up a different piece of paper. I have it.
I think the 45,000 original was for 10 sets.
Let me see if I can go find my. Come on. What is this thing doing? Documents. Zip. 21.
We could cut all the bunker gear and ask the Warehouse Point residents to fund it.
I think it's Broadbrook's bunker gear.
I know.
So we had to do 15 personnel, and I think this requires funding over 3 years to cover all sets. So 5. Does that make sense?
No, that's way too high.
Yeah,
It's
it
about
is.
it's about $4,500 a set.
Right. This says turnout coats, bunker pants and hoods are $3,000 each. Boots and helmets are another $900, but they were going to pay those out of the operating budget. So at 3,000,
Oh, that's all 45 is all of them.
yeah. No, because they said, well, some not adding up, because they said 135,000 for all of it. And we put in a third of it essentially at 45,000.
Right, but then they were funding the boots and helmets. Were they funding that out of operating?
Yeah, they were funding those. How many
Right, so
people
take
do
that
they
number
have?
they started with and then reduce it by the boots and helmets.
No, the boots and helmets were already out of there.
Oh, they could have 45 people. It could be 15 each year.
Yeah, I think it was 15 each year. So we could shave a little and give them 10 this year and do it over 4 years. Or make up the other 10, give them 20 next year with the extra money that we won't need to spend on. Of course, that assumes we're all here to make that decision. But we could shave maybe 15,000 off of it.
Well, if we did 30 grand, that would be 10 sets. At the
That's what I was
3,000.
thinking.
Yeah.
Gets us a little bit of what we need.
So it would be 11,618. What's that give us for a balance we need to find now?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute.
23.
Oh, actually, wait. Yeah, so we'd already cut them a little bit. So if we bring it down to 30,000, because we already had given them only 41,000, not the full 45 we'd asked for.
Right. Yep.
So that'll get us down to $23,050. Wow, look, the police department vehicle computers.
How much,
23,070.
Stop it.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Kathy, what did you,
We're
what did you-
halfway there.
never mind. I found it.
Okay. All right, so let's say we don't want to touch anything down here anymore. What if we drop the reval by 10 grand?
Well, if we figure,
How much do they have in CNR?
actually, when's the reval due?
Oh,
23.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean the reval, I meant GIS, so no, we can't do that. Take that back.
I don't think we have GIS in there, do we?
We don't.
Yeah.
No,
zeroed them out.
talking about a reval, when is it due? 2023?
Yes.
So 3 years?
No, this is 2021 already. So
Or I'm sorry, 2 years.
yeah, we got 2 years.
We have 2
Yeah.
years, and so what I'm thinking is we're not going to have the PD vehicle computers in CIP. We're not going to have the PD next gen in CIP. So without jumbling all the numbers, I think next year, if we were to double the amount for the assessors,
So Kathy,
it
to
from
answer your
now?
question, they have 98,471 right now.
and they're gonna need
On
basically
GIS or
250, right?
reval?
That was reval.
That was reval. And when was the last time we checked with them about what they're anticipating for a price, or do you know that, Amy?
I think she sent something, didn't she send something in this year? That's why we were able to shorten it, I thought.
Oh, we shortened it last year, so I was just curious. I don't remember getting an update on it this year. Let me see if there's something in here. Previous,
Running across the line, it says total project cost 138,472.
it does indeed.
And we're at 98. So that might work. It doesn't get us all we need, but it gets
Right,
us
but it gets
closer.
us darn close.
So are you saying kill it or just drop it, Bob?
I'm saying drop the reval this year,
Completely?
and then the bunker gear. Have we got that figured out exactly how many units that is at the 41,618?
It
If we're
was
cutting it to 30, are we getting like 3.5 units or?
So
nope.
$3,000 a set. So basically this is 10 sets. So we were at just about 42,000 before, so that would have been another 4 sets, just under 4 sets. They would have had a little money left over. They would have been able to buy 3 and would have left a little in the account.
Right, so is there the change that we need? The amount of change we need, is that in that bunker gear to cut them to a level number? Or
I
the
don't
exact
think so.
number of equipment, follow me?
I don't know that I'd want to go lower than that just because of the age of the equipment that they were talking about. That's at least gets them 10. And I think that puts, I'm going to highlight bunker
Well,
gear.
It was 3,000 per unit then, right? So at
Yeah.
30, we're doing 10. Okay. All right, we'll leave that then.
I'm going to highlight these 3 because I think those are the ones we're stealing from that
Mhm.
we're saying we want to go back to next year and bump them back up.
Yep.
With the excess money from not having to pay next gen and the vehicle computers. So that puts us basically $3,000 and $3,050 away.
I hate to say it, but hi, Lenny. Gonna
The only
hate you
thing
by
that
the
I
next
might,
meeting.
the only thing that I might offer is, and I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we have been paying for some computer work, some laptop work in cruisers through IT recently. I don't know if some computers that were already purchased that were, I mean, just I think last week or the week before, the gentleman that does their IT work was looking to get the gentleman down from our consultant to mess with some computers in some cruisers. But I don't know what that entailed, other than they were laptops and they were in cruisers.
Right, so it's probably just they're probably just trying to get the communication squared away. As the vehicle comes into the parking lot, a lot of the data that is stored on that vehicle computer gets automatically downloaded to the server at the station. So I'm sure there's a lot of IT work that's involved in all of that.
This is just the cost of the computers themselves.
Right, this is just the purchase of the computers. And I would not be willing to forego that.
And I
Others may think differently.
Bob, I'm going to assume that since the others were all purchased, they were also already fully installed in the vehicles that they were intended for at this point, right? There's not
They're probably still doing that now.
So that installation cost could also be coming out of the IT budget, because this was just the computer.
Right.
That
This was just the
installation
purchase of the
cost-
computers that we're dealing with here.
That's an inherent problem that we have anytime somebody does something like this, is they put in a price to get equipment, and then we are stuck footing the bill for the IT, which we don't necessarily have in our budget.
Well, that
How
should
much?
definitely.
So I guess I might just wonder if the $3,050 came out of that line, how would that affect? Since we're likely going to have to pay to install the computers out of the IT budget.
That 23,070, I believe, is 12 computers.
Oh, 23,070 is half of the total. That just says remaining units to be replaced, doesn't have a number. I'd have to go
Right.
back
It
to
was,
the
the
spreadsheet.
first year was, I forget the number. It's either 12 and the second year was 13, or it's the opposite. It's either 13 and then 12. So that's either 12 or 13 computers right there.
We don't have 25 police cars that have computers. I think it was 6
Or
and
was it
7.
12 or 13 was the total number. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
That rings a bell with me too.
Right.
I think there's
And there was-
3,000 and change to buy the tough books.
Right. So it was 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And what's our number we have to cut?
Yes,
$3,000.
you would be
50.
basically cutting one computer.
I think we should probably do that.
So which officer are we taking it from?
That's
Because
your
that officer
decision.
wants to know.
That's your decision, Bob.
That's why I'm not willing to go there. What officer gets to drive blind?
Well, I feel like for me, I'm kind of down to looking at the $3,000 coming out of drainage or police vehicles, not those computers. I'd rather see us just get the computers finished. I don't know if anybody's up
If
for
we take it
either
out of
those.
vehicles, then that's gonna hurt us. We're gonna have to find money to be able to purchase the vehicles.
I don't know how bad your worst vehicles are and whether you could limp along with one for another year. We've been pretty religious about the 2.5, and it used to be that, you were lucky
Yeah,
if you
we've
got.
been religious about it for only about 2 years.
No, we've been doing this a
Okay,
little long.
three, might be 3 years. I might be wrong. It could be 3.
But still, for a long time, many, many, many years before that, the police department was lucky to get 2 vehicles. So I guess would the $3,000 really make or break another vehicle for you guys?
Well, I haven't gotten pricing on the new Fords, which are probably almost maybe available now. We did purchase 2 Chevrolet Tahoes because we couldn't get the Fords.
Right.
They were a little more expensive. And those are in service right now, and those are on the road, on patrol. And we were able to do that because we funded 2.5 vehicles last year. So we did have enough funding to make that happen. Can you check, Amy, what we have in CNR police vehicles? Is there anything in there?
No, you had like $1,200 before you smashed
Yeah.
up your car.
Oh, yeah, that's right too. So that burned up the rest of that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We didn't smash it up, the deer did.
So Bob, realistically, that 88,000 isn't going to get you 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
And it's not enough for 2? Is that what you're saying, Bob?
Like I said, I haven't gotten pricing on the new 2020 Fords. I know they're not less expensive than they were last year when we couldn't get them. And I wanted to say we're at 39. This is going with the 2018 model year was 39 and change. So without seeing the state bid on them, I have no idea what the price is. I wish I had a better answer.
Well, I feel like,
Well, I mean, I suppose if we take it out of the PD vehicles, somehow we'll find the money to make it happen.
I agree with it. I think there's a little bit more logic doing it that way than to be one computer short.
Yeah, I
Leave it.
don't want to do the computers. I really don't want to go there. I'd rather, if I had a choice between the two, I would take it out of the vehicles. So I'd be willing to take a hit there. I've got projects going on at PD, trying to do the locker room for our officers. And we're using our PD private duty funds to do that, as we usually do, investing in the town with our private duty funds. I'm sure we can probably find some money there if we need to.
that would bring it down to 84,950.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, 42 and a half per vehicle is what you could cover with that.
Maybe we'll go unmarked. So no graphics package.
There you go. So I feel like the 4 places we just counted on are highlighted. Let me see if I can get that to move in a way that too much shit on my thing here. So you can see everything at once. So there's everything. We're at 920. The 4 that are highlighted are the ones that we hit on to get there. And I guess I would say those are the ones I personally would want to see us prioritize next year to try to put back. The reval will certainly have to. I think the bunker gear is a mandated thing as well. So those 2, most certainly. And we got to get back to the GIS next year too, because we dumped to them this year.
And town property vehicles. Got no money either.
And yep.
And let's not forget, we took 40,000 out of roads.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
The real answer is $1 million is just not enough money.
Yeah, it's just not.
Nope, it isn't.
It's just not enough. I mean, on the flip side, I realize that the Board of Finance has not moved forward with doing any kind of supplemental appropriations because of the current situation. But that's not to say that later this year or, early next year, there may not be the ability to do something there, at which case some of this could get put back in that way.
Right. I would have to say it's probably, if it can ever happen at all, it's going to be after the first of the year. You got to remember,
I think so.
A lot of the revenues from property tax is not going to come in until October.
Right.
So.
But Amy, I would ask, since you're on the pulse of that, if on our behalf you would keep your ears open for the timing of when that any potential supplemental appropriation gets discussed, if you could make sure that they're aware of these things that we sort of stole from. And if the opportunity arises, see if we can include some of that in any appropriations that may get put out before next fiscal year.
Yeah, and we'll be looking anyhow to see how revenue's coming in, if revenue's coming in better than we're expecting or not. I mean, we're still seeing a lot of traffic at Town Hall. They're coming to the front door or the tax office window. So we are seeing a lot of traffic. And of course, all the mortgages have to pay. So all the
Right.
bank checks will be coming in at the end of July, beginning of August.
All right, well, does anybody want to make a motion to put this forward the way it is?
I move to move forward with the cuts that we've made in the areas that we made them, as presented on the spreadsheet available to us.
I second it.
I was going to say, does that make any sense?
It's close enough. As we did on the spreadsheet that we're working from, call it the working spreadsheet, perhaps. So I have a motion from Bob and a second from Bill. Any discussion?
The only other thing I would add to it is that to submit to the Board of Selectmen. That's what was
Okay.
on the other one.
You good with that, Bob?
Sure, I will revise my, my motion to submit to the Board of Selectmen.
And as the second, you're good with that, Bill?
I second the revision to the motion to submit it to the selectmen.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Any other discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. Bob,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
we are unanimous. This will be our recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Great.
I will write it up this evening since we're already past the 1st of July here and get it out to them. Amy, when's their next meeting?
Thursday.
So it's already too late for their agenda then anyway. I'm sure that's already put together. So I
Yeah,
guess
probably.
I'm not in a giant hurry. They probably won't be looking at it till the following meeting. So, but I will make sure they get it in plenty of time for that.
That is August 6th, I think.
Okay. All right, well,
All right, great.
no other motion, or if there's no other business,
I would move to adjourn.
I will second that.
so that's Mr. Leach, Mr. Mann. All those in favor? Bob,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and Adam.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:18. So Jay, hopefully you're still on here because you're the one that has to stop the recording.
Hold on, you moved it on me.